After seeing the screening of The Kitchen, I'd rather watch my own kitchen than this movie. Why? Because it would have been more interesting than this movie. The Kitchen. So The Kitchen is the new DC Comics film that came out this year. Actually, this is based on DC Vertigo comic, and this movie is directed by Andre Beloff. I don't think I said her name right, but she has written Straight Outta Compton and Bloodfather, two really good movies. Now, this is her directorial debut, and this movie stars Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, and Elizabeth Moss. And this movie is about these women, played by Tiffany Haddish, Melissa McCarthy, and Elizabeth Moss. They lived in a 1970s Hell's Kitchen. Their husbands in the film are mobsters, and they got arrested by the police, and they decide to take their job in their own hands. Now, I was very, very interested in this movie, especially that this movie is directed by Andrea Beloff. I hope I said that right. I love those two movies she's written, Straight Outta Compton and Bloodfather. I thought they were really, really good movies. So, I'm very, very interested to see her directorial debut with this movie, and I love the three leads. I love Tiffany Haddish, I love Melissa McCarthy, Elizabeth Moss is also really good. I love those three women, and also the other cast in this film, like Domhnall Gleeson and Common, are in this film. I love the cast members in this film, and it's a new DC film, so I got very excited for this film. And I really like DC Vertigo. I read some comics like The Losers. They're very, very good comics. I haven't read the comics of The Kitchen, so I went to see a screening of this movie like Dora and Lost Ego. That movie wasn't the only movie I saw a screening to. This is also a movie I watched a screening to. Not on the same day, just each day. There's always first screenings in some cinemas that I went to. And guys, I went out of the theater pissed. This movie was bad. This movie really let me down, and I gotta say, this year is a pretty disappointing year so far. There's so many movies that I'm very hyped for this year, and it literally lets me down this year. And I gotta say, The Kitchen, on par with After and The Intruder, yes, it's almost my least favorite movie of this year. Does this film have positives? Well, I would say one main positive, and the most thankful positive I have with the film, is the three main leads in the film. We got Melissa McCarthy, Tiffany Haddish, and Elizabeth Moss. Now, I'm not going to talk about the characters that are good in the film. I'm just going to talk about their acting. Even though the script in this movie is terrible, they did their best to make the script and the dialogue interesting, and they did really good for the most part. I really like those three women. I love those actresses. They're just wasted in this movie, because the rest of the negatives in the movie is coming right up right now, because this movie was terrible. I hated this movie. This is definitely the worst comic book movie I've seen this year. Honestly, this makes Dark Phoenix more entertaining than this movie. First off, this movie was not interesting. Basically, this felt like a montage music video for the most part of this film, and women walking through sidewalks, and people just talking in rooms. Literally, nothing happens in this film. Like, with the montage music, it's like a competition, like who picks the best song for a montage music, because there's so many montages in this film, and honestly, it could be fun and interesting, but no, the montages really, really annoy me in this film. Also, the script in this movie is so freaking dull. Like, really, it felt like one of those cliched rip-off movies that literally has a really bad execution with it. The execution in this movie is terrible, and I gotta say, this is a bad year for writers doing directorial debuts. Like, we got Simon Kinberg for Dark Phoenix. This movie, the exact same thing. This film basically is a film that nothing happens. This could have been also a TV series, because we need more information, because this movie is a mess. We don't get much information about the women characters in the film. We don't get any other information about their husband characters either. It just goes straight to the point. And sometimes it could be a good thing. This movie, I want more information. This movie was boring as shit. I literally want to leave the theater after I saw this film. Through the middle of the film, I'm like, I want to leave. I just want to leave and just forget about this movie. But it's so hard leaving the theater, because there could be a good thing that comes after. But no, throughout this whole entire movie, this movie was terrible, with bad dialogue, boring execution. The direction of this movie is not good. There's so many of those montage things about this film. And yes, there could be good films that doesn't show what's happening, but at least the dialogue could be interesting. Like Goodfellas, for example, especially Reservoir Dogs. I love that movie because the dialogue in the movie is very snappy, and it's very good and clear, and you feel entertained by it. This movie, the difference between that, this movie just has really boring dialogue and nothing that's executed well about this film. Guys, overall, The Kitchen is terrible. I really didn't like this movie. This is definitely the worst comic book film that ever came out this year. I was very let down by The Kitchen. I love the three main leads, but the characters are so wasted in the film. Everything is wasted about this film. This is just a really bland mess. I'm going to give The Kitchen a D-. So guys, that is my review of The Kitchen. Guys, let me know what you think of this movie in the comments below. If you like the movie, hate the movie, or just thought it's okay. Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter. Keep contact with me, and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest reviews, and have a nice day.